Hi everyone. Today we will be discussing the grammar of a written discourse analysis. So let's start with the first slide here. The first slide will show you the perspective on discourse and on context. The first one is called discourse perspective, and the second one is called contextual perspective. Now let's move on to the second slide, which is about discourse grammar and sentence-based grammar. By discourse-based grammar, it makes a strong connection between form, function, and context, and aims to place appropriateness and use at the center of its descriptions. Moving on to the next slide, slide number 3. Slide number 3 is all about texture of a text. A text can have a texture, and texture of a text consists of unity of structure, which involves patterns combining together to create information structure, focus, and flow in a text, and to unity of texture. It is the way in which resources such as patterns of cohesion create both cohesive and coherent texts. I have taken this from Hudson, 1989. So, texture is, in brief, a result of the interaction of these kinds of features: unity of structure and unity of texture. Now, slide number 4. Cohesion vis-a-vis discourse. Cohesion versus discourse. Cohesion refers to the relationship between items in a text, such as words, phrases, and clauses, and other items, such as pronouns, conjunctions. And the main patterns of cohesion cover reference, lexical cohesion, conjunction, substitution, and analysis. Slide number 5. Reference. Reference refers to the situation where the identity of an item can be retrieved from either within or outside the text. Reference patterns are or can be anaphoric, cataphoric, exophoric, and homophoric. Slide number 6. Anaphoric reference. Anaphoric reference is where a word or a phrase refers back to another word or phrase used earlier in a text. Slide number 7. Cataphoric reference. Cataphoric reference describes an item which refers forward to another word or phrase which is used later in the text. Slide number 8. Exophoric reference. Exophoric reference looks outside the text to the situation in which the text occurs for the identity of the item being referred to. Slide number 9. Homophoric reference. Homophoric reference is where the identity of the item can be retrieved by reference to cultural knowledge rather than the specific context of the context. Slide number 10. Comparative reference. With comparative reference, the identity of the presumed item is retrieved not because it has already been mentioned or will be mentioned in the text, but because an item which is being compared has been mentioned. I have taken this from Ekins, 2005, page 98. Now moving on to slide number 11, which is about lexical cohesion. By lexical cohesion, I refer to relationships in meaning between lexical items in a text and content words and the relationship between them. Lexical cohesion main types are repetition, synonymy, antonymy, hyponymy, meronymy, and collocation. Next, let's move on to slide number 12, which is about repetition first. Repetition, as the name suggests, refers to words that are repeated in a text. This is quite easy. So let's move on to the next slide, slide number 13. Synonymy. Synonymy refers to words which are similar in meaning, such as date and go out. Slide 14, about antonymy. Antonymy describes opposite or contrastive meanings, such as shy and forward women. Next slide, number 15, hyponymy. Hyponymy refers to classes of lexical items where the relationship between them is one of the general to specific, an example of, or in a class to member type relationship. Next slide, number 16. Meronymy. Meronymy is where lexical items are in a whole-to-part relationship with each other. Now, next slide. Collocation. Collocation describes associations between vocabulary items which have a tendency to co-occur, such as combinations of adjectives and nouns, as in real estate agent, the right direction, and ossimen in the example. Slide 18, which is about conjunction. By conjunctions, we refer to words such as however, finally, and in conclusion that join phrases, clauses, or sections of a text in which a way that they express the logical semantic relationship between them. Slide 19, about the types of conjunctions. Halliday and Hudson, 1976, divide types of conjunctions as follows. First, adjective. Second, adversative. Third, causal. And fourth, temporal. In the next slide, another types of conjunctions taken from Martin, 1992, Martin and Rose, 2003. They divided conjunctions into additive, comparative, temporal, and consequential. The first one is additive, the second one comparative, the third temporal, and the fourth consequential. Slightly different from Halliday and Hudson. Next slide, slide 21st, about substitution. With substitution, a substitute form is used for another language item, phrase or group, an item for a noun, an item for a verb, an item for a clause. Slide 22nd, ellipsis. With ellipsis, some essential element is omitted from the text and can be recovered by referring to a preceding element in the text. Ellipsis may involve the omission of a noun or noun group, a verb or verbal group, or even a clause. Slide 23rd, about theme and rhyme, major concepts in discourse analysis. Theme is the starting point of a clause. That is what the clause is about. The remainder of the clause is the rhyme. Thus, in this sentence, hiragana represents the 46 basic sounds of the Japanese language. The theme is hiragana. The rest of the sentence is the rhyme, which is what the sentence has to say about hiragana. Slide 24th. We can say that theme is an element which serves as the point of departure of the message. According to Halliday, 1985, page 38, it also introduces information prominence into the clause. Next slide, about rhyme. The rhyme is what the clause has to say about the theme, what it has to say about genre. Next slide, 26. We need to know more about theme because they can be topical theme about a topic, textual theme about a text, interpersonal theme, an item that comes before the rhyme which indicates the relationship between participants in the text or the position or point of view that is being taken in the clause. Multiple theme, more than a single thematic element in the theme component of the clause. Slide 27. This is about thematic progression, which is divided into constant theme or theme reiteration linear theme or a zigzag pattern. Finally, multiple theme or split rhyme, which means a rhyme may include a number of different pieces of information, of which each of which may be taken up as the theme in a number of consequent clauses. Here is the last slide for today's presentation and our discussion. My name, my address, and my email. You can also note down my telephone number for quick communication. Thank you and goodbye for today.